Welcome back, Toronto Wine Drinker, TorontoWineDrinker.com. We are in the lovely wine cellar of Toca at the Ritz-Carlton on Wellington Street in Toronto, and we're with Dominique Demarville, and I love saying this, the 10th cellar master of Veuve Clicquot. Did I get that right?
Yeah, that's right. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, yes, it's great. What we just did is we just did a tasting, and Dominique, really quickly, maybe tell the people what we were tasting and why.
So we tasted 4 red wines from Champagne, coming from different crus, different villages, which are used to make our rosé Champagne. Because in Champagne, we make our rosé by blending red wines with the white wine before the bottling to get the color of the rosé, to make sure that we will have this beautiful color, this beautiful pink color in our wines.
Right. Now, are there different methods to do that? I know that you're saying like blending, so you brought some red wines that we could taste. I believe they were all Pinot Noir.
Yes.
And we took a taste of the Pinot Noir, and then you're going to blend those with white wines in order to make future champagnes or rosé champagnes.
Exactly.
Are there other ways to do that besides that blending technique?
Yes, besides the blending techniques, which is today in Champagne 95% of the production of the rosé wines, you have what we called the rosé de saignée, which is a short skin contact between the skin and the juice to transfer the color from the skin to the juice. And afterwards, we settle the vats, and it is called rosé de saignée.
Oh, rosé de saignée. So that's basically a little bit of skin contact to get a little bit of color, and then what happens? I mean, it must be easier just to blend it, no? Or you have a lot more control?
It's not easier. It's different.
Okay.
The rosé de saignée provides wines with a lot of fruitiness, often wines which are very, very intense in terms of fruits. As we want at Veuve Clicquot, as we want to have a lot of elegance, finesse, and delicatesse in our rosé, we prefer to work by blending. And it's also by tradition, because the first blending of rosé to make a rosé in Champagne was done by Madame Clicquot in 1818.
Wow.
And so since 200 years, roughly 200 years, we continue this tradition to make our rosé by blending red wines and white wines.
Nice. Now, let's talk about you. You served us in the tasting that we just did. I was lucky enough to participate in that. You served us a vintage and a non-vintage, and I believe that's what we have here.
We have, yeah.
Tell people that might not know even what vintage versus non-vintage means.
Yeah. Non-vintage means we are blending together several years.
Okay.
That's why we can't put the year on the label, because we blend all together several years. And the non-vintages are made to be consistent, to make sure that year in, year out, you will have always the same taste, the same style in the wine.
So if I buy a Veuve Clicquot that year, it should be the same that year if it's non-vintage?
If it's non-vintage.
Okay.
So if you buy yellow label or if you buy rosé label from Veuve Clicquot, you will have always the same taste year in, year out.
Oh, okay.
If you buy a vintage,
cool. Yeah.
Vintages are different from one vintage to another. For example, today we have the vintage 2004 on the market, which is very silky, fresh, with a very delicate full bodied. Before we had the 2002, which was very concentrate and rich. So vintages, we have the year on the label because the grapes are coming from only 1 year.
Okay, and that's a rule, eh? It has to be all from that year, and then you can call it a vintage.
Exactly.
Okay,
exactly.
Now, not every year has a vintage though. Why?
No, every year are vintages, because sometimes years are too light or without enough concentration. And as we want to declare a vintage at Veuve Clicquot, and as our vintages are wines with a lot of full-bodied and powerful, some years we can't declare a vintage. Okay. And that's why vintage are made only when the year is exceptional regarding full-bodied, regarding complexity, regarding richness, because it is what we want in our vintages.
So it's kind of a signature thing. Like you don't want to release a vintage if it's not good, because then people will think you're not producing good wine anymore.
Yeah, definitely, it's a signature of the house to make vintage where the Pinot Noir predominates. In our vintage, the Pinot Noir predominates the blend, 60-65% depending on the vintage. And the signature of the house is a vintage with this powerful. We want to show to our clients.
Nice. Now, Champagne, you were mentioning Pinot Noir. It's what? Pinot Noir, Chardonnay, and Pinot Meunier? Is that?
Yes,
Those
that's
are the
right.
three basic
Yes,
grapes right there?
The three basic grapes, Pinot Noir, Chardonnay, and Meunier. In our wines and the Clicquot, the Pinot Noir predominates always.
Pinot Noir dominates pretty much all your
Dominates,
wines.
yeah,
Okay.
always.
How much is Pinot Noir in a rosé?
In the rosé, the Pinot Noir represents 62-63% of the blend.
So it's not much more than half then to get that color.
Yeah, to get the color and the percentage of red wines in the non-vintage rosé, 12%.
Okay.
12% to give the color and to give the taste of our rosé is red wines.
Nice.
In the vintage, it's a little bit more because we are looking for rosé with with a bigger character, with a bigger, a higher color, and that's why the percentage of the red wines is 15%.
Okay. Now we've been talking rosé. You also produce regular white champagne, is that right?
Yes,
That's
yes,
what you're
of
known for, and then the rosé is how much of you told me earlier how much of a percentage of your production is rosé?
Today, the production of rosé is 8%.
8%.
At Clicquot, and it's continued to grow very fast.
Yeah.
We believe that in the next year we will be over 10% with an added. The demand for the rosé is booming everywhere in the world.
Now I was surprised. You said that a huge demand and in fact one of your vintage was sold out. Japan.
Yeah. When we launched the new non-vintage rosé in 2005, we started in Japan, and the demand was so big in Japan that in 1 year we sold out all the production of the non-vintage rosé.
Every bottle.
Every bottle, just for the Japan. And we can launch worldwide the non-vintage rosé only in 2006 because the first year we were out of stock. It's amazing.
Fascinating stuff. Let's get to the tasting. I don't want to take too much time. I know people are probably interested in seeing what these wines look like, and these are also your glasses. Is that right? These are you guys made these at the winery.
We designed these glasses last year with a partnership with a sommelier from Champagne, Philippe James. Philippe is the head sommelier of the Château Les Crayères, which is one of the most well-known restaurants in Reims. 2-star Michelin today. I'm sure in the next future they will get the 3-star Michelins. I cross the fingers for them. And Philippe designed beautiful glasses for the restaurant, one for Champagne and another one for the red wines of Burgundy. And when we talked together, I asked him, Philippe, why not to make a glass for the Clicquot? Because in our wines, the Pinot Noir predominates. And if we can create together a glass which is a mix of your champagne glass and your Burgundy glass, it will be amazing. We work together, and today you have the result. Beautiful glass.
It's light. It's very light, isn't it?
It's light.
Your hand,
this glass is done by the Verrerie de la Marne, which is the producer.
Okay.
And they are doing a very good job. Light, enough large to make the flavors turning into the glass, and when you smell the wine, you have all the flavors coming to your nose.
I was excited to drink out of it actually because the first couple of sips I realized I don't like champagne flutes. Yes. I really don't. They're very narrow. You know what I mean? I like this a lot actually for champagne. It's really good.
It's a good way to taste champagne.
Let's see how it holds some wine, shall we? Let's put some wine in there. So what are you going to serve up first here that we can look at?
So we'll start by the Veuve Clicquot Rosé, non-vintage.
Okay.
We start by this one because it's a wine you will see which is very fresh, fresh and delicate. It's a perfect wine for aperitif, perfect wine to celebrate, to enjoy the life, of course, during the day, but also during the night. Why not? And as you can see, the mousse is beautiful, white, beautiful white. The bubbles in the glass are are really well in a good shape. And
cheers.
Cheers.
Let's have a taste. Now, am I drinking it right? Like, is tasting champagne or drinking champagne the same as drinking other wine? That you swirl it, you smell it, you taste it, it's all the same.
Exactly.
Right.
Champagne is a wine, so we must taste it, drink it like all the other wines. That's why using wine glasses or large flute is very, very nice because you can smell it better. The differences with the still wines is that you have bubbles,
Yes.
and bubbles participate to the taste of the wine, especially at the beginning of the taste when you take the wine on the palate. It's important that the bubbles are enough lively to refresh your palate, and it's important also that the bubbles are enough fine and delicate to make that you have a kind of creaminess at the beginning of the taste. And this creaminess, these lively bubbles, makes and helps to develop the acidity, the freshness of the wine. It is crucial for me when you taste a champagne.
Lovely. Should we try the vintage? You take
Yes.
a look. We'll compare them side by side.
Okay, with pleasure.
So what are you expecting to get out of your vintage that is different from the non-vintage?
Alors, the non-vintage, we make it to have it as aperitif, to celebrate, and also to match it with very fresh food. The vintages is stronger, is more full-bodied. You will see that the color also is deeper, and vintages is definitively a very good wine. You can drink it for itself if you want, but it's also a very good wine with food.
Now you're such a champagne and wine guy. Like, do you ever just kick back with a beer at home?
Of course.
Cheers.
Cheers.
All right.
So vintage 2004, which
Oh,
is the current vintage on the market. So very big. It's a wine which is very intense.
And what flavors am I smelling in here? What should I be getting out of this?
We have very ripe fruits, red fruits, cherries. For me, the cherries predominates the taste of the wine. We have also a toasty brioche, which is also the signature of Veuve Clicquot. The toastiness, the brioche flavors comes from the aging of the wine. And we have also some spices at the nose. That's fresh spices. It's a wine. Even this vintage is 8 years old. We still have a delicate freshness in this wine.
And you were saying that this could age 20, 30 years.
Yeah, it's a wine which has a beautiful potential of aging. We can keep it for 20, 30 years. Of course, the wine will change. It's like when you aged a red wine for 20 years, it's not the same 20 years after than when you buy it. It's the same for champagne. When you keep a bottle of champagne for 20 years, after 20 years, the wine is different. So the color will be more copper, will be more yellow for the rosé. And also the tastes are going to be more toasty, are going to be more on the ripe fruits, on the truffle sometimes, than today, where the fruits predominate.
Lovely.
So,
Let's taste some. Cheers.
cheers. À votre santé.
Wow, that's a lot different than the non-vintage. The non-vintage is good. It's just different.
It's different. Non-vintage, I will say non-vintage is for every day. Vintages is for the day when you have good friends at home, you want to share with them beautiful dishes. For example, I love to match these vintages with ham,
Okay.
with pata negra,
Lovely,
with beautiful ham. It works very, very well. So when you want to enjoy in a very, very beautiful evening, you can buy ham, some cheese, and you can match this vintage with ham and cheese. It's amazing.
Lovely. Now, before we go, and we'll go in just a second, but I did have to ask because I want to know a little bit about this. If you could quickly explain, you're the 10th, is it the cellar master?
Yes.
10th cellar master of the winery. That's got to be an amazing feeling. I mean, what are your duties with that? What are your responsibilities?
The responsibilities of the cellar master at Veuve Clicquot is 1 foot in the vineyards, looking to the quality of the grapes, buying the grapes to the growers who deliver the grapes to Veuve Clicquot, working with a team of the Veuve Clicquot vineyards, because we have our own vineyards. So 1 foot in the vineyards. 1 foot in the winery, of course,
Yeah.
to make the wine with my team, tasting every day, making the blend. And the head on the market That's why I'm today.
That's why you're standing here in Toronto.
Yes.
Talking to me. Look at me. I show up in jeans and whatever. This guy's in a tie. He's like, I don't care. I'll talk to you.
Yellow tie.
Thank you very much. It was
You're
great
welcome.
to meet you, Dominique.
It's my pleasure.
Dominique Demarville, Veuve Clicquot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess you guys are online. I can put your website online.
Yes, we
People can
have
visit it.
veuveclicquot.com,
Lovely.
and so you can visit us on site on our website. And if your way drives you to Champagne, of course, we will be happy to welcome you in the cellars.
Excellent.
So-
And thanks also to Toka at Ritz-Carlton on Wellington Street in Toronto as well. All right, Dominique, cheers.
Cheers, Sean. Thank you very much.